Okay, so thanks for showing up and watching another video of us talking. Now, see, today I was thinking maybe we should talk about religion, because we were talking about doing that before. But I don't know, that might be too much of a hot button topic. Maybe we should talk about movie remakes instead.
Movie remakes.
Granted, out of the two, that's probably the one that's going to end up with the biggest argument at the end, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, because you already know how I feel about movie remakes. Well, not all movie remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you missed the point. That is my argument to the end. You have missed the point of the remake.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't know, and if you don't know, you're living in a fucking rock. Not under. Yeah, you're living in the rock because you're a fossil.
You are living in Dwayne Johnson's ass. You are living in the rock.
That's right. Scavenging protein powder and steroids. That's another topic. Anyway, yeah, if you don't know what a remake is, what the fuck you doing watching us anyway?
Why are you on the internet? Should you not be weaving something at a loom?
Yeah, or being Amish. Just in general. Anyway, yeah. So a remake is not really quite a sequel to a movie. It's a reimagining of a movie by another director, another writer, etc. Maybe updated versions.
I'm going to remember you said that, too.
The whole reimagining part?
Mm-hmm.
But see, there's guidelines to that, and we'll go over the guidelines.
There are. Okay, so here's the crux of this argument. This is what starts and ends every one of these discussions between us. Just say it. Get your ass to Mars and say it!
Total Recall.
Yeah. Okay, so my argument is that Total Recall is an effective remake. Now, I say this because the plotline of Total Recall is: guy has boring life, sees news report about exciting goings-on somewhere else that he is not, goes to Recall to live a life where he's part of the exciting goings-on, shit hits the fan, is he in the chair, is he not in the chair, credits. Now, going to Mars, three-breasted hookers, mutants, go Hagen, give them the air! None of that has to do with the plot line guideline. The outline of guy with boring life, guy wants more, guy winds up over his head, maybe he's a spy. That could be anywhere. I could write that into an episode of Star Trek. I could write that into the Industrial Revolution. I could write that all the way back to the founding of the country, the War for Independence. I could work a Total Recall into that, because I just follow the guidelines. You got this guy who works as a farm on a colony, and he's like, damn, there's people over there fighting for independence. I wish I could do that. And he meets an old gypsy woman who puts him under a hypnotic spell to make him believe that he's part of it. But maybe he was part of it the whole time, and the old gypsy woman just unlocked those memories. So all of a sudden, you've got Total Recall 1776. And it works.
Except for, the
nobody goes to Mars.
Yes, I think one of the main things that people remember, well, besides the three-breasted woman, which was in both movies, the second movie was total bullshit because it wasn't explained at all. Because there's no reason for her to be there because there are no mutants. There is no Mars.
Unless she's just some chick on Facebook looking for attention.
Yeah, exactly, with Photoshop, yeah.
And a prosthetic boob. Anyway.
Yeah. I heard she kept some guy as like a sex slave for like 6 months. I read a story, I don't know if it's true or not, but
Lucky guy.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, here's the thing. Okay, so this is where the story varies. Okay, Copenhagen didn't want to give people the air.
Not Copenhagen! That's chewing tobacco! And I understand chewing tobacco does not want people to breathe. It would rather people be chewing.
Fucking exactly. It doesn't want to give people the air. Just ruin their lungs with tobacco that they're chewing on fire in their mouth. Anyway, the main villain, whatever the hell his name is, Copenhagen. he So in the original Total Recall movie, what he wants to do is basically terraform Mars or something like that.
See, but you're too detail oriented.
But details are what make the movie. I mean, what you remember about a movie. Sure, you remember, the Arnold Schwarzenegger's part in that movie, right? But you have to remember all the characters' parts in that movie. Where it goes from some guy who's terraforming Mars and...
At least someone finds this entertaining.
Yes.
Hi, buddy.
He's terraforming Mars, and then in the remake, he's trying to take over the second colony that's left on Earth with robots.
But that's not the point. The point is... This guy goes from boring construction worker to hero of the revolution. Where the revolution is, what the revolution is doing, if the revolution will be televised or not, that's not important. The fact is, hero A has to stop bad guy B from doing evil plan C.
Yes,
A, B, and C are interchangeable.
Yes, but A, B, and C are interchangeable for almost any movie with that format. It doesn't have to be the remake of Total Recall.
Yeah, and what's your point?
We're
not debating whether or not Hollywood is original.
Yes, I'm just debating if it should have been called Total Recall or not.
But it was called Total Recall because the whole point was the repressed memories of him being part of the revolution but not quite, or a good guy or a bad guy. That is what Total Recall was about. Mars was a set piece.
Did you ever see, what movie was that? There was a movie with a guy who... There's a movie with a guy who, might or might not have been replaced with a robot who thought it was him.
Thriller?
No.
Moonwalker.
It did not have Michael Jackson in it. Anyway, so, was it called No, it wasn't Replicant. That was some other movie.
That was a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, that's not the one I'm thinking
I
of.
remember that.
I don't know. You should be ashamed of that.
I am.
Yeah.
This is a serious wekaka.
Yeah. Anyway, this movie that I'm thinking of, so this guy he wakes up, all of a sudden, all these, SWAT team guys come in, they, bring him back to, this lab, and they basically torture him for information, telling him that he's like a replicant spy, he's an android spy that was sent in to destroy some sort of project they were working on. He doesn't remember this. He doesn't know if it's true or not because he knows that the replicant things don't know if they're replicants or not until their mission, until they're upon their mission. He spends the entire movie trying to figure out if what's going on is really him, if it's really not. Meanwhile, he's trying to thwart the agency that would have potentially sent the replicant in the first place. His wife tries to kill him. Ultimately, I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, but yeah, in the ending is a lot more clear than either Total Recall movie. But anyway, the plot is almost interchangeable with Total Recall.
Or that one Terminator movie with the guy who is a Terminator but doesn't know he is. Also, shades of Memento in there, too.
Yeah.
I was going through that in my head as you were describing it. I was like, is this that Terminator movie, or is it Memento, or could it be both?
Yeah, no, it's with some other guy. And then there's that Don Cheadle movie.
Iron Man 2?
Exactly. He was a sleeper cell. Yeah.
Hail Hydra.
Exactly.
What?
Anyway, if you know the movie I'm talking about, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, I probably sound like I'm rambling drunkenly in public. I'm not. Anyway, so yeah, there's plenty of movies that have that main plot. Here's the big question, though, as far as a remake or not a remake. And next we'll talk about RoboCop. That's right, RoboCop.
Still haven't seen that.
Alright, you haven't seen that, but you know basic plot points.
I can tell you the plot of RoboCop. Okay, guy gets killed by organized crime. The means are not necessarily required, even though I love a good I love that. Awesome. But cop gets killed by organized crime. His body gets taken by OCP or ICP or ICUP. And, he gets rebuilt into a cyborg who's supposed to be a cop. And then there's some existential crisis in there for like 5 seconds, maybe. The second one was more existential, but whatever. Anyway, so, point of remake?
The point of the remake. Yeah, let me get into that first. Okay. The point of the remake is if you watch this movie and you don't know the title of the movie, if they change the name of the characters, if you don't know the plot of the movie and they change the name of the characters, would you recognize this as a remake?
Well, if they change the characters in the title, it wouldn't be a remake.
Yeah, but just for the sake of argument here, all right, by the plot points that are being followed, would you recognize this as a remake by the basic theme? So, in this particular case, right, this guy living in one of the 2 remaining cities left on the planet,
which makes him the boring guy with a boring life.
Yeah, gets shipped to do robot parts, to fix robots in the rich, thing.
Robot building, construction, menial labor jobs.
Yeah. The guy, he decides he wants to spice up his life by doing the Total Recall thing. Mm-hmm. And then, all shit breaks loose. He discovers he's, an agent, or maybe he's not. Who knows? And then...
And maybe Harold from Harold and Kumar is there.
Yes.
Because that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my basis for a remake is, would you recognize this as an updated version of the original movie? Or, a reimagining, getting back to that. Because a reimagining still has to have at least, it can have some creative licenses to it. Some good remakes, I'll get to that. Some things I think are good remakes.
Next time we have this conversation, I'm bringing a chart. a chart, because charts make things indisputable. Because you've just basically described Total Recall. However, if we replace boring construction worker with blacksmith in the 1800s, replace technology with gypsy magic, because, back then gypsies had magic. They probably still do. If you do, call me.
And there's gypsy magic, the robot mech that fights monsters.
Fucking robots. Okay, but that's the whole idea. I mean, it works on that level. Even if it doesn't, that's the big hang-up everyone had, was like, but it's not on Mars. Mars was not the goddamn point.
Yes, but very large plot points happened on Mars.
The same very large plot points happen in this. In the other place.
Well, not exactly. I mean...
He quells the revolution. He saves the world.
Yes, but...
Does it matter which world? Not really.
Yes, but if quelling a revolution is the main plot point of the movie, then Braveheart's a remake of Total Recall.
Except there's no gypsy magic. I just said that. You need gypsy magic. William Wallace has to be like, "Ach, I do not remember who I am." And then some gypsy will be like, "Remember." And he'll be like, "Oh my god, the revolution!" And he just takes over the world, because Scotland.
So you heard it. Pacific Rim is a remake of Total Recall. That's gypsy magic. Anyway, RoboCop. That's the other one I wanted to briefly get into. I know Dave hasn't seen that movie. Thank God. You haven't.
I've got it somewhere. There's a disc or a program or something. I forget. I just haven't gotten around to it. I wasn't really that eager.
Yeah. But, okay, this is another thing. The main plot point, this is the theme of the movie, of RoboCop. The original RoboCop was always, does he have a soul, is basically what it comes down to. Now, think about it. The movie is him finding himself after being reborn as RoboCop. Is he still Alex Murphy?
Okay. That one I get, but the whole soul thing for a second, I'm just like, wait, Robo-Jesus?
A lot of people have actually made that illusion.
Honestly, I've never read that much into RoboCop. I need to go back and rewatch all of the...
No, there's just the first and second one.
I'll watch the first two again and really re-examine that, because all I was watching it for was tits and blood and guns and shit.
Which none of that are in the remake, by the way. Even the gun he carries is like an electrocuting gun. It doesn't actually kill people. Yeah. Yeah, PG-13.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what the first movie was about. That was the existential crisis on of RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
Finding himself. Is he Alex Murphy? Is he just a something that looks like Alex Murphy?
And it actually got even more existential in the second movie, because that's when they really start getting into, RoboCop's programming and how much of that contributes to who he is, and, the lengths he's willing to go to keep himself separate from that mass of confusing, contradictory orders.
Exactly. First thing RoboCop does when they wake him up in the remake, like, hey, where am I, and why am I wearing this suit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point in the first movie, I think they had actually blanked his memory, or they thought they did. So when he got up, he was just like, I'm RoboCop. Because that's all he had going for him. It wasn't until he saw the first guy in the gas station robbery who was like, wait, you look familiar. And then his brain starts turning back on. Yeah,
but it was also in the original Top Secret that it was Alex Murphy. Remember, he still came up as dead. The first news report in the remake is Alex Murphy victoriously returns, from, all hail robots.
It's like, wow. Buried the lead right there.
Yeah. Because the company, which, by the way, wasn't OCP in the remake.
It's OCD.
Exactly. You know how many times those guys wash their hands is crazy in that movie. Anyway, this company wanted to show the world that robots were good because they had some sort of license ban against them actually putting the robots in the United States. They only had soldiers in other country soldier robots. So anyway, they wanted to gain the popularity with the public. So they made this guy because technically a cyborg wasn't illegal. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
That's why they made him. And they won. Basically, because the next political poll that was coming up, they disbanded the thing so that they could put, Ed 209s and soldier robots in the United States.
Ed 209. That's another reason I haven't watched the remake, because as much as everyone makes fun of Ed 209, motherfucker can't walk downstairs, gets beat by a manhole, gets reprogrammed to be loyal as a puppy. You know what? I like that clunky old machine. I think that was one of the coolest things to come out of the 80s. And, I know they redesigned it for the new movie, and I'm kind of like, well, it won't be as good as the original.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I actually do like the design of the Ed 209. Mm-hmm. The one thing I wasn't a big fan of with RoboCop was, I don't mind that his armor was black, it's just how, non-RoboCop-ish it was. If he didn't have the visor, you would swear it was Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. He even had, I don't know why the hell they kept a hand. He had one human hand in the remake. Which I think is a throwback to a joke from the original with them saying, hey, we could save his arm.
And then the guy said, no, that would look stupid.
Exactly. I'm thinking it's a joke. Anyway, as far as the...
But is it really a joke if you use self-referential humor and you're like, oh, by the way, we did keep the hand and it does look stupid? Like, that doesn't prove a point. That just makes you look really stupid.
I just hope if they do a sequel to the remake of RoboCop that something happened and he blows it off.
Well, that would be fucking terrible. He's in a car accident or something. He has to rip his own arm off to get out of the car. And then they're like, well, maybe we should have gave him a robot arm.
Yeah, so anyway, going back to the point, which probably everybody's forgotten here, the original plot of RoboCop, or the underlying plot line...
The outline of the plot.
Yeah. Is not there in the remake. It's like he's Alex Murphy. Everybody knows he's Alex Murphy. There's never a doubt he's Alex Murphy.
Well, is that really the question, though?
What was really the question? Because it was
Revenge.
Originally... Yeah.
It was a revenge movie, originally. It was just like, this guy is going for revenge. Ultimately, he opts for justice, but he still winds up killing everybody. But it's not so much about whether or not he is or is not RoboCop. It's cop gets killed by organized crime. Cop gets turned into cyborg. Cyborg takes revenge. Did the cyborg take revenge?
Yeah, I guess he kind of took revenge.
I mean, it's kind of like that really shitty Crow TV show. That is where the failure of the remake happens. Okay, you got The Crow. Guy gets killed by criminals, comes back to life a year later to murder every single person who had anything to do with the incident. So, they think this would make a great TV show. First of all, where did that thought even come from?
Yeah.
I mean, this is an hour and a half long emo killing spree.
Yeah, and they thought, hey, what if he didn't kill them? What if he took them to justice and never went away?
Yeah, it's like, he came back for justice, not revenge. Like, yeah, I guess. But then there was that whole thing with the snakes and the bad guys. Like, if he killed a bad guy, they would come back as a snake to take their revenge on him, and he'd have to kill them anyway. And it's just like, that is so much overcomplication.
Yeah, and then the fact that the Crow was like a dual identity, where his complete personality changed, and the makeup just kind of like leaked down onto his face when he needed it to.
Yeah.
It was almost like Shades of the Hulk, as far as like, as far as how the plot went.
Or, God help me, Ghost Rider 2.
He's scratching at the door.
Fucking Nicolas Cage, I swear to God.
If I ever made a life movie about myself, Nicolas Cage would have to play me.
And I'd have to be on set. A lot.
So, what does this all come down to for remakes anyway, is that... Your opinion?
No one's ever going to be happy. I mean, that is the point of remakes. This entire discussion is a metaphor for two sections of fandom. There will always be people like me who are like, hey, it's the spirit that counts. And you're going to be like, get that film back to Mars. Because Mars is where Total Recall happens. I mean, like, I'm all for... Well, actually, I'm not all for every remake. But, like, for example, the shot-for-shot remake of Psycho. That was pointless.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. That one completely pointless.
I mean, it's just like, if you want to make the exact same movie over again, okay, but I'm less likely to give a shit.
Yeah. So, one last thought, actually, before I let you go. I was going to promise to say that I'd give you some good remakes, or things I thought were good remakes. Okay? Good remake, Carrie. The new...
With one exception. I really missed the nudity in the shower scene in the beginning. Okay, you know what? Call me a perv, call me a creepo, whatever. But Sissy SpaceX openers... Oh my god, so hot. Would have been actually a lot hotter now. But, whatever.
Yeah. But all around, good movie. They retold the story their own way. They expanded on the characters. I really thought they did a lot better job with Carrie's character as far as like humanizing her in this one. Because I actually watched them back to back, the original and I watched the remake. So it was pretty fresh in my mind, comparing the two.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and listen to the audiobook at some point because,
Yeah.
I don't have a copy of the actual book. And Sissy SpaceX actually reads the audiobook. Totally cool.
Yeah. Another one I would say is a good remake was actually The Shining. The TV miniseries.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. The reason why I say that is because it was also a lot... They hit most of the points. I mean, they didn't have the bear giving the dude a blowjob, which it totally explained in the book, believe it or not. It's in the book, and it's explained in the book. It's not in the movie.
See, that is why I think Stephen King is one of the greatest modern authors, because if I put a bear giving someone a blowjob in my book, people would be like, are you insane? He does it, and they're like, holy shit, genius.
Yeah, because, see, he's a submissive, and the other guy is a dominator. I don't know. Let's not get into that, anyway.
I thought you meant a literal bear.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an actual bear. It was a dude in a bear costume.
Well, now I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Anyway, it's scratching at the door.
The cat.
Yes.
He's scratching at the door!
Yeah. But anyway, it hit all of the main plot points of The Shining, which the original Shining hit in the, from the book, pretty much. Of course, an hour and a half long movie can't really do justice to a mini-series that's like 4 hours long.
That's true. I mean, there should be a standing rule in Hollywood against making any more Stephen King books that are more than 2 inches thick into an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just, when they did The Stand as a TV miniseries, that was good. Because that is a big fucking book.
Yeah. or It, which they didn't even get through half of It, believe it or not, with the 8-hour miniseries or however it was. It was ridiculous.
Oh, and they're going to remake that too.
Yeah, I know. They're going to make that in an actual theatrical movie.
Can't wait to see that. Hey, you know what, Hollywood? You want some ideas for good remakes? Let me give you a couple off the top of my head. The Wraith. So obscure, people probably don't even know it's a remake. But it would be badass.
Exactly.
It's like Christine meets the Crow. Badass.
Yeah. You know, also was a good one, The Thing. A lot of people don't, and not the newest Thing.
Not the new thing?
Not the new Thing, the old Thing.
Not the old thing or the new thing, but the one in between.
Yeah, see, there was a one in the 1950s, like The Thing from Another Planet, which The Thing from the 80s was actually a remake. People didn't know that. A lot of people didn't know that. But yeah, that Thing is a remake. The new Thing is technically a prequel. Just so you know. Anyway, yeah, The Thing was a really good remake. I actually like that a lot better than I like The Thing from Another Planet.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Fucking stick a dynamite in a mountain man beard. It don't get no better than that.